There are three big mistakes that women make that block money from coming to them. So in this video, I'm going to share them with you so you can avoid them. And I'm also going to share what you should do instead to help you make more money easier and faster without all the grief. For example, if you're an online business owner and you haven't been able to break through the income plateau in the last year, or maybe you have another failed launch and you're trying to get your program and your course out there, but you're just not seeing the sales you want. If that's the case, you're likely making at least one of these mistakes. But don't worry, it's super easy to fall into these, and I'm going to show you exactly what to do instead. So the first one is something I call inauthentic positivity. So what does that mean? Well, it means when something doesn't go as planned or as expected and there's some disappointment, lots of people just quickly move past it. They just sort of like brush it under the rug and they move on to what they want to do next. The problem with this is that the emotions don't go away. So for an example, say you do a webinar and you put all of your heart into it and you spend weeks getting ready, you have people signed up, you're ready to go, you do it, you do a great job, and you get zero sales. How are you going to feel? Well, most people I know are going to truly feel some disappointment, maybe frustration, maybe a little bit of defeat. And unless you really sit with those emotions, you can't truly move on. But what happens is people try not to feel those negative emotions and they do push through and they do go and move on to the next thing. And the problem is those emotions are still there and they will show up in the next thing that you do. The second mistake is ignoring where you lack confidence. So what does that mean? Well, it means that when you don't feel super confident in something, you'll focus on what you do feel a little more comfortable with. For example, say that you have this new program and you want to raise your prices. There's a part of you that really believes that this is super valuable and you want to raise your prices, but you haven't really done it before. So there's a lot of discomfort with that idea and you don't feel truly confident in putting those prices out there quite yet. So what happens, instead of getting underneath why you lack confidence, you decide to put less value out there, downgrade your programs, or lower your prices. And what this is actually just staying in your comfort zone. Instead of pushing through or actually getting underneath what is the fear of going to the next step, you just stay in your comfort zone. We all do it. The third mistake is focusing on the what to do. If something doesn't go well, the first thing you think of is, well, what should I do now? What could I do differently? And maybe you look for another strategy, or maybe start focusing on your website. And you start coming up with all of these new action steps. But the problem is you haven't gotten to the root cause of what led you to do what you did in the first place. So until you really stop and you think about what led to the decisions of what you were doing in the first place that didn't lead to the results you want, you're not going to change anything. Again, this idea of just continuing to power through. The problem is this just leads to you working harder and harder and harder, which leads to exhaustion, resentment, and lack of joy. And the reason why we do all these mistakes is because that's what we were programmed to do. That's what we were taught to do. That's what we see the experts telling us to do. So the solution isn't to just shift your focus to something more positive, or lowering your prices or your offers, or thinking about the next thing to do. It's to get to below the surface of why these things are happening in the first place. And why for you specifically? What's not aligned between what you want and what your reality is? What within your automatic thoughts and emotions have led you to exactly where you are? Your automatic thoughts and decisions make up 95% of all of the things that you do and don't do on a daily basis. So until you really tune into those automatic thoughts and emotions, you will continue to spin your wheels, making these mistakes and ending up with results that you're not happy with. So everybody's success looks different. But if part of your success is wanting more money, then what you need to do is look at your automatic thoughts around money. There's actually 5 different types of money, and I'll get into that in another video. But what I want you to really take home from this is that you just have to stop before moving on, before making any decisions about what to do next. You need to stop and reflect. Go within and think about what are your automatic thoughts and feelings related to whatever it is that the topic is. Whatever it is, your launch, your offer, your prices, your success, your money. Stop and get it all out on paper. Start talking about it and really tune into what the truth is behind all those actions that you're taking. And everything changes when you truly acknowledge your truth. When you find those automatic thoughts and emotions and you give it a voice, you are heard. Part of you, that part that is scared, that part has doubt, that part is wondering if you're good enough. When you say those things out loud and you give yourself a voice, that's when you can let go of these mistakes. Thank you so much for being here, and be sure to subscribe if you want to learn more about changing your success from the inside out. So before you just quickly move on to figure out what to do next, stop and tune in to where you really are. Acknowledge those true thoughts and emotions associated with everything you have going on and give them a voice. And once you do, you will be amazed at how quickly you can move forward. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.